Yes, people, welcome back to 12th Man. Welcome back to the channel. Arsenal Roundabout is back with an elite panel and some fantastic guests that you all do know. The Tuchel news is breaking. We're going to talk on that. We're also going to talk on Arsenal's injury news. We've got Martinelli, Saka, Tomiyasu. The injuries keep coming and the list does keep going on. But I've got some new guests in the house as well tonight. But you all do recognize them from other shows. Kenny and Brandon back as ever. We got Hooks. Bro, it's been too long, man. How are you, fam? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm excited because we're coming back to real football now. You know, these international breaks are just so garbage, and I'm just waiting to watch Arsenal play again. So yeah, looking forward to that. I can't lie.
Facts, bro. No, I'm with you there, man. And Giuseppe, it's been too long, bro. I'm glad I've got you on finally, bro.
Yeah, trust me, man. Been a fan for time, so it's great to be on. And shout out all the boys. Obviously, Brandon Hooks, I've done a lot with you. Kenny, I've not really done much for you, but I watch you all the time. Big up. Yeah, man. I'm happy as well with that Arsenal back. I echo Hooks. International football ain't it? I'm one that's part of the petition to scrap the mid-season internationals and just keep the major tournaments, and that's that. But yeah, man, I'm happy to be here, bro. Talk some Arsenal.
Listen, man, the only person I know that likes international breaks is Kenny Ken, man. Literally the only person I know who likes international football, Kenny. Right. You know what I'm saying? You must be buzzing. Thomas Tuchel, mate. Thomas Tuchel is going to be the New England manager. What are you saying, Kenny?
Well, first and foremost, you know, you can't have a World Cup or a European Championship which gets every fan of each country buzzing, whether you support Italy, whether you support the other European nations, or whether you support England. You know, you wouldn't have had that excitement this summer if there weren't an international break where you play qualifiers and playoffs. So international football is essential. In terms of Thomas
Not
Tuchel,
Nations League, Kenny. I ain't having that. Not Nations League. No one cares.
You say no one cares about the Nation League, but the right teams have won it. You know, Portugal won it, France won it, and Spain won it.
Who cares though? Did you care though, Kenny? Did you care who won it? I couldn't give a damn.
They cared because they played their best 11s. They played the best teams. So
do you settle down and get excited like you do Euros and World Cup, Ken? Come on, real.
You know, sometimes you need a break from the Premiership because I go to games like
that's a no. That's a no.
International football. You know, as I said before the wealth for the Premiership and before the wealth for the Champions League, the tournaments we look forward to was the European Championships and the World Cup. Now the Champions League, we get European Championships and a World Cup every season. So that dilutes international football.
Well, look, what are you saying about Tuchel? Do you think it's a good appointment?
Yeah, 100%. I think, you know, if the FA, you know, show they're serious, he's won a lot. And, you know, he's got one thing about him. He's come at the right time because there's a lot of good players that England can choose from. And there's a lot of good players coming up. There's no player is sure of it. You know, it's not like the bad old days under, you know, Croydon Roy, you know, Capello, Ericsson, Hoddle, Keegan, all those managers where certain players, they got a bit above their station. They confused their paycheck with their talent. And, you know, they didn't care about England. They loved the prestige of playing for England. And, you know, rightly so, we hated them because they produced crap displays. Now, these players want to play for England, which helps the manager. And we got some really good players, you know. Saka's not sure of his place. Hodgins not sure of his place. Palmer's not sure of his place. And that's how we should be. The only player that's sure of their place is Harry Kane.
I would say Saka's sure.
Well, even that at the moment is debatable.
Well, you look what's happened with you look what's happening. If you told me about a couple of years ago that Sterling and Rashford wouldn't have gone to the championships and wouldn't have even featured in the squads, you'd have thought, hang on, they're stalwarts. So anything can happen in England now because there's so many players pushing Saka, Rice for places. There's so many players you can think, you know what, if they get the right amount of experience, you know, play a amount of games, and they keep that shirt, and it's difficult to get that shirt off them. That's how football should be.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Well, look, it looks like it's going to happen, man. Fabrizio Romano is stating it's going to happen. Looks like it's going to be happening pretty quickly as well. I like the appointment, man. I don't mind who comes in. What's people's thoughts on this one, man?
Yeah, I think it's a good appointment. I said before the show, he's a cup manager. And that's what you need in international football. You don't need always the best of the best, even though you could argue he is one of the best right now. But you need a cup manager, someone who knows how to win cups. And this guy won the Champions League with Chelsea. So with a Chelsea team where people would argue that weren't good enough really to win the Champions League. So he knows how to win cup competitions. So I think he's the right appointment. I'm interested to see how he deals, if he looks into the Ben White situation, because I feel like he's the type of manager that might speak to Ben White and try and get him back on board. I wouldn't be angry if he just disliked all the Arsenal players and they didn't go and they just stayed at Arsenal and stayed healthy. But no, yeah, listen, I think he's a good appointment. For me, it makes it a bit more exciting for the next competition, because I'll be honest, like international football don't excite me that much, and I know I'm probably sitting there from a bit of a luxury standpoint, in the sense of like I'm Italian in it, so I've watched Italy win the World Cup, I've watched Italy win the Euro, so I've watched a lot, I've watched win everything. So I do support England and Italy. So I'd love it in England to win as well. So now it makes it exciting, because the past few competitions, to be honest, I just know England ain't winning anything with Southgate. Now with someone like Thomas Tuchel, I'm going to be watching and thinking, you know what, can win this World Cup, Euros, no matter what it is. The players that are available and a manager that knows how to win cups. Well, we've gone from a manager that got sacked, renegated in the Premier League, to a manager that won the Champions League with a Premier League team. So that's the standards that have gone up. So I'm excited to see what he does. There is the whole man management side of things and that, but I feel like that ain't always as tough in international. It's not as tough when you ain't got to sign players and sort of it. I feel like that's always a bit easier. Everyone loves playing for their nation. There's not as much toxic stuff going on for their nation and stuff as much. So yeah, listen, for me, yeah, I think it's a good appointment. I think it's probably the best appointment that England could have made at this point in time, that he was available as well.
I agree. What are you telling me, Hooks?
Yeah, I mean, out of the current crop of managers that are available, I guess you could say he's the best of the bunch. But I don't know. For me, or the way I'm looking at it is, we need someone to go from finals to bringing the trophy home. And I don't know if the brand of football that Tuchel plays will do that. Like, I don't know how the team's gonna adapt to it. Obviously, there's certain players that I hope make it into his squad. Like, for example, Angel Gomez. What I saw Angel Gomez do over these last few games, for me, he has to be starting in the midfield alongside Rice. But now we've gone back into the kind of the mist, and we have no clue who's going to be playing. So it's like all of the stuff that kind of causally built up over the last few games. Will they play again? Who knows? Under Tuchel, maybe someone like Sterling might come back into the team, which, you know, depending on how he plays this season, could be a good thing. But I just don't know, man. And I guess how ironic would it be if a German-led England to win in the World Cup and the Euros? And I mean, I just what do you know what? I'm someone who I think that you should be of the nation when you manage your nation, because what happens now if we draw Germany? Like, I'm not saying that Tuchel's going to throw anything, but there's definitely going to be that in the back of his mind, like, oh, I'm playing against my own country. So that's why I just always prefer, you know, have an English guy. Do you know, give someone like Eddie Howe the chance, or, you know, just give maybe Graham Potter, give like an up and coming English manager the chance. But he's here now. He has won cups, and I guess we just got to get behind him, and hopefully he doesn't destroy the dressing room too much, because I know he has fallen out with a lot of players in the past. But yeah, we just gotta see what he can achieve under the England banner.
Yeah, I hear that. Look, Brandon, I'll come to you on this one, bro. Get your thoughts on Tuchel's potential appointment for England. But Hooks makes a good point, man. We don't know what Tuchel's thinking right now. He does know England. He knows English football, obviously, pretty well. But who is his number one in goal? What's his back line look like? He's got a great decisions after making the attacking midfield areas. And then, obviously, if Kane is going to have the last tournament, then who's going to be the future striker? This could all change. We all knew with Southgate who was going to play. He was going to look towards Stones and Maguire. Pickford was his number one. He loved Trippier and Walker. He loved playing Saka out on the right and Kane up top. I think there's some decisions now, and I fancy Tuchel to get it right. If I'm honest, I can't lie. I think when you always look at the elite and you look at the best, you look at a new manager. If Arteta was to leave tomorrow and said goodbye, who do we want? Well, you go Pep, you go Klopp, and then you start going down that way. And I think England, to be fair, have probably started like that and gone, well, it's either Potter or we give it to Carsley, or there's Tuchel sitting here. Let's go to Tuchel. I think that's the right decision out of the three options, in my opinion, man. So what are you saying, Brandon?
Yeah, it's a top appointment. It's a top appointment. To be fair, guys, like I must have been living in the shadows or something, because I didn't even hear about this until literally we just jumped on the podcast. So I didn't even know that
It broke about 25 minutes ago, to be fair, sir.
Yeah, I didn't even know that Tuchel was becoming England manager. No, I think that's a very good appointment. You know, the only thing that people will really throw at Tuchel is his brand of football. You know, it's not the prettiest brand of football, let's be honest. But who cares if you're winning? You know, Arsenal under George Graham, 1-0 to the Arsenal, winning. You know, who cares? Yeah. And this is the thing, right? Tuchel's won everything. Tuchel, up until Alonso took over at Leverkusen, Tuchel was the only manager to have stopped Bayern Munich from winning the league with Borussia Dortmund, right? Tuchel also come into a Chelsea squad, which was in a little bit of disarray, and won 4 trophies in 2 years, 18 months, something like that. Club World Cup, you know, Champions League. This is a guy who wins everything, everywhere he goes, pretty much. You know, he won at PSG as well. Not the Champions League that they've been craving, but he still won at PSG. He wins everywhere, bro. You know, and I know people look at his time at Bayern Munich and say, you know, it wasn't great. You know, they kind of fell off the pace towards the end with the league and all the rest of it. But if there's any manager out there that's available right now that's going to get England over the line and get England actually winning, you know, the Euros, the World Cup, etc., he's as close as you're going to get. You know, apart from Jurgen Klopp, I don't see anybody else out there with his experience who, you know, who will also shake up the dressing room, who will also, you know, give a little bit to these players. He won't allow them to just come to internationals and pretend like it's some sort of friendly or something like that. You know, if he's here to be serious and he's here to win. And no, I like the appointment, Dan. You know, we could have the same old thing that we did last time and just stuck with Lee Carsley and gone, do you know what? We've given him the interim manager's job. He's done all right. We're going to give it to him permanently. But this shows me that the FA in England are desperate now to bring home the trophies, because let's be honest, right? Gareth Southgate's nowhere near the level of manager that Thomas Tuchel is. And if he can get this England squad to finals and semi-finals, etc., then I'm pretty sure that Thomas Tuchel can win us something in his time in charge. So, no, I'm happy with the appointment. It also means he's not going to Man United as well, which is even better. That means they might get Southgate, get him. And, yeah, no, I'm pleased with it, bro. I'm pleased. I'll definitely be watching England a bit more. Like, I haven't really been I'm with you, Dan. I'm not really interested in these whole international games, you know, midway through a season especially. I just want to watch Arsenal. I just want to watch, you know, high-level Premier League football. I don't care about all these breaks. And every time we seem to have these breaks as well, you know, we're going to talk about it in a minute, but Arsenal players seem to come back injured as well. So, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Scrap it.
Yeah. Well, look, man, you've segued nicely into a couple of sections. I wanted to touch on it quickly. We'll come to Arsenal afterwards, but the Man United thing very quickly. Not that I want to make this a Man United podcast. I hope Man United keep Ten Hag forever, by the way. I will say that to start with, right? But it looks like Tuchel was going to be one of the number one names on their list, Kenny, if they were going to move for another manager. Now that he's not there, where does this leave Manchester United, in your opinion? Should Ten Hag get the sack eventually, whether it's in 3 games' time or 3 months' time? Is this just going to be another Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for Ruud van Nistelrooy, and then they wait until someone else comes along, or are they just going to stick with Ten Hag, bro? What's going to happen here now?
No, I think Man United. I think the thing with Man United at the moment is that top managers and top players are looking at the situation and think, you know what, as long as the Glazers are at Man United, then it's a waste of time for top players and top managers to go to Man United, because they have base. If you let's just say, if you think about embezzlement, what they're doing at Man United is basically embezzlement. You know, laying the club with £600 million debt, and then taking out so many dividends to the extent they've taken about £1.2 million pounds, yet they haven't updated the ground, they haven't updated the training ground. You know, they give managers money to spend, but they're basically buying players who, let's face it, haven't been doing it in other clubs in Europe. So I think managers at the moment have done a good thing as swerved Man United in terms of Ruud van Nistelrooy. That's a given, isn't it? I mean, I say it respectfully and hope no women are watching, but you think that the guy INEOS, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, he goes around sacking people left, right, and centre, showing that he's got a bit of nuts. Well, where's your nuts, Jim? What are you doing about Ten Hag? You get rid of Sir Alex, give it a big one. That's not difficult. I mean, an 80-year-old who contributes nothing, get £2 million. Oh, that's the most difficult position. Well done, mate. Congratulations, you hard man. Or you get rid of the tea lady. Yeah, well done, mate. Where's your nuts, mate? How about show us some nuts and do what you have to do? Because any other manager, any other chairman of any of the big six clubs has said to Ten Hag, yeah, thanks for the trophies, but you know what? Your time's up. This is Man United, for God's sake. They're the biggest club in the world. They're bigger than it. Biggest club in this country. One of the biggest clubs in Europe. It's Man United, Real Madrid. Yeah, they're putting up this debacle, but say it now. As long as the Glazers are at Man United, it's a waste of time because it's going to be a situation they'll win a trophy, then they'll be awful the next season, then they'll win something, and it's just a yo-yo. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke in that club, and it's a shame because at the end of the day, you want a competitive league, and you want to hate Man United because they're the best, not hate Man United and laugh at them because it's not even funny now. It's not funny.
It's actually become like banter galore. It's quite funny now, man. It's one of those for me that you look at and think, how can we be in such a mess 10 years after they've won the Premier League and look at the state of it? It's absolutely mad. They literally have to start everything again. And I don't know what the mindset is in INEOS personally. I was speaking to Terry about this earlier, straight facts of LB. I don't really get where Man United are going here because for me, if you've got these great footballing men that have got this new regime and structure, and the first thing you do is say, I want to keep Ten Hag, straight away, that's massive red flags and alarm bells for me because as much as trophies are all that we're after, your league form and competing and challenging has to be alongside those trophies. And if it's not, at a club like Manchester United, they ain't good enough. Now, don't get me wrong. If Ten Hag was at Newcastle winning a League Cup and the FA Cup, Newcastle would be wanting a statue for him because that's how much they deprived of trophies. Clubs like Everton, West Ham, all these clubs that would absolutely love to win an FA Cup, and fair play to them. But this is Manchester United. Kenny's right. This is the biggest club in England alongside Liverpool, and then with Arsenal, in my opinion, in third still. I don't think you should be accepting that. And I just don't get why all these names people are talking about Carrick and McKenna and Potter and all this. And I'm thinking, nah, this is Man United. So look, I don't want to go into it much more, but it's an absolute mess over there, man. And I'm here for it. I don't really get it at all. But
I've already told Terry this. Ain't nothing changed at Man United except from the face. Yeah. People think that because are in charge of footballing relations, right? That doesn't mean that the Glazers have some sort of say. Of course they do. They still own the football club, right? Nothing's changed at Man United apart from the face. If Man United was serious, let's be real now, right? If Man United was serious, they would go and get an Inzaghi. They would go and get a Zinedine Zidane. They would go and get, somebody like that. I know what Kenny's saying, about them being in an absolute mess right now and top managers and players don't want to go there. But let's be real, right? We watched Tottenham get Antonio Conte, get Jose Mourinho. They weren't in a mess like Manchester United are, or as bad of a mess as like Manchester United are, but they were also still a football club that hadn't won a trophy for 16 years. What did they do to get them two winning managers? They threw the checkbook at them. If Man United were serious, they go to Zinedine Zidane, they say, look, we know you don't want to come to England, bro, but here's 50 million to manage Manchester United, and we'll give you a war chest as well to change our fortunes around. They don't want to do that because they're not a serious football club. Sir Jim Ratcliffe is not serious. I've already told Terry this, and Terry thinks that because, the INEOS are doing certain things off the pitch, that can excuse what's going on the pitch. But the red flags were there, bro. Straight away in the summer when you decide to keep Ten Hag and then also give him 2 extra players that he'd already managed at Ajax, knowing that he wasn't getting the best out of the players that he'd already brought in from Ajax, and you go and give him De Ligt and Mazraoui, who he's managed before as well, it was always going to be a disaster, bro. So
Do you know what though,
you-
Brandon? There's a lot of Man United fans that seem to think that this is going to be like an Arteta thing, where if they just keep on with him, he'll eventually get it right. But this is nothing
Oh,
like Arteta, man. There's no progress here whatsoever. There's no style of play in nearly 3 seasons. It's
the
mad.
thing is though, Dan, right, is the amount of Ajax former Ajax players that he's got at that team, in that team, you would at least expect to see something similar to what he was doing at Ajax. You don't even see that. He's not even getting the best out of them. That's how you know that this manager and just the whole structure and everything at Manchester United hasn't changed. Because if you're gonna go and sign your former players, at least try and play the same brand of football that you played at a team that you managed, that you succeeded with. And you're not even doing that. So yeah, they're in a mess, bro. And it's not even. You're right. It's not funny no more. You almost feel pity for Manchester United, and you shouldn't feel like that because they are one of the biggest clubs in the world. Definitely the biggest club in the country. And look, as an Arsenal fan, I'll always sit here and think, yeah, do you know what? It's good to laugh at them, but also at the same time, as just in general, as a football fan, it's horrible to watch what's going on at that football club right now. It really is.
For me, few things about that. First of all, sometimes I feel bad for them. Then I remember it's Manchester United, and I don't give a crap anymore. To be honest, I'll be honest. I know there's a lot of things. Football. I don't give a crap, mate. Man United could get liquidated, and I wouldn't care. Like, I'll be honest. Screw Man United, screw Tottenham, you know, and screw Chelsea as well. But nah, listen, I don't feel bad for Man United because Man United won. I'm not making it about us. Man United fans, and that never gave a crap about us when we were the whipping boys for years under Arsene Wenger and stuff. They all used to laugh at us. No one ever used to feel bad for us. I'm not ever feeling bad for Manchester United and how much money they spend and how much they mess up time and time again. Now, I disagree with one thing you said, Brandon. I don't think throwing a checkbook at a manager is going to fix Manchester United at all. I think that will just make it worse because you're going to get someone who's going for the money and then don't give a crap. And then when stuff's all going wrong random and these owners are crapping that, they'll do what Conte done and just said, this club's finished, mate. Like, what are we going to do? I don't care. Sack me. I'll take my money and leave. That's the problem. They've got, the funniest thing is, we joke, they've got to find an Arteta. They've got to find a guy, and it's not easy. And that's why I say to people with Arteta, I rate him so much. And I know he hasn't won and he hasn't got over the line yet, but we found a gem out of nothing. We found a guy that never managed, and he ends up bringing us to where we are now. If he's the guy to bring us over the line, we'll wait and see. If not, the next manager we're in a tenfold better place than we were before he signed for the club, right? That's what they need to find at Manchester United. Could Ruud van Nistelrooy be that guy? I don't know. If I'm Manchester United, I maybe give him the chance, to be honest. I'd choose him over, if I was Manchester United, I'd probably choose him over Southgate, over Graham Potter and all these guys, because he's a Manchester legend. He knew what it was like to win. He knew what the club was like under the best era, not the best, but some of the best years of the club. He knows what it is to be Manchester United, and he's a good manager. He won the league. The only thing I always question with him is how he won the league, and then he won the league in where he was managing, and then he went to sit second to Ten Hag. That's why it's weird. That's why I always personally believe that they were saying, we're going to give Ten Hag a bit, we're going to let you get into the groove of things here, and then we're going to make you the manager. That's what I originally thought Manchester United were doing, because it's the only thing that made logical sense of why he went there. But for Manchester United, it's mad. I don't know how they fix it right now, because it's they just need to find the right guy, I think, and put faith in him. Because I'll be honest, before Arteta come to Arsenal, I was one that sat there and thought to myself, how do Arsenal get out of this hole that we are in? Like, I swear I did not see this coming. And that's why, maybe, and I think that's why a lot of Arsenal fans are so happy now. And I know people say we haven't won anything, why are you happy? I think it's because a lot of us were in this hole where we were like, brother, I can't see us ever competing again, let alone winning anything. I can't even see us competing again the way we were. And then with Emery coming in and Baku and all this stuff. So this is what I think Manchester United need rather than a checkbook manager, because Zinedine Zidane will come in, he'll get all this money, he'll see how crap the clubs run and all this stuff, and the players not caring, and he'll go, well, I don't care, I'm getting my money, sack me. And I feel like someone, and I do think Zidane as well. I don't think he's attainable, because I think he's won many Champions Leagues now. He's gonna want a sparkling record as a manager. He's not gonna want to go somewhere like Manchester United and potentially get stains on that record. Because I'm under the belief, and people always call me out for it and shout at me, I'm under the belief that he's actually overrated as a manager, Zidane. I think he done it with Real Madrid, and fair enough, you got to do it. You got to be a good manager, but he's not. He hasn't proven to me that he's one of the best yet, because that Real Madrid team that he was winning time after time was the best team in football at the time, and one of the best teams ever. They had Ronaldo and all that, Bow at the time. It was ridiculous, Modric. So, and it was the years of Champions League when it weren't as competitive, in my opinion. So that's why I think he's a bit overrated, and I don't think he's the right guy to build Manchester United and bring them over the line.
I mean, look, I think Man United have got two options. I can't believe we're talking about Man United so much, but it is topical, isn't it? And the international break, it is what it is. But I've got to say, there's two ways of going about it. They either go and get a Zidane type, who I agree with you, it won't be him, but they go and get a manager that has a CV, and they give that manager 2 seasons and say, here's hundreds of millions, go and sort us out. Or they start again, get a project manager and do a little bit like Arsenal do and say it's going to take time. And look, Manchester United fans will want probably both. There'll be some that want the project. There'll be some that want to win now and try and get it right. The only way the win now will work is if they don't do it like Tottenham, because there's no point giving Conte a job and say, right, go and win me now, because they ain't a win now squad. That's what Tottenham did. Tottenham weren't backing him with money to say, right, here you go and spend 50 million in the next 2 years and get the players you want and take us there. Conte was like, look, you ain't serious. I'm out of it. So Man United.
But then they gave that money to
what's it called?
The new guy.
Say again, bro.
Doing, by the way.
Yeah, good man. Big up, bro.
They Tottenham gave money to this guy that they have now. What's his name again? Ange, yeah. So they gave Ange the money, but they didn't give the other people money. To me, it's not about money. Everyone from the bottom to the top has to trust, and that's why I don't really have too much smoke for the Cronkies anymore, because I feel like they genuinely have the best interest of the club at heart, in my opinion. I don't know if everyone here agrees with me, but I don't think the Cronkies are as bad as they were when Usmanov was there and they weren't wanting to spend.
No, the Cronkies right. The Cronkies right now, like, to be fair, have given Arteta everything that he wanted. Like, let's be real. This is why there's more pressure on Arteta to deliver, in my opinion, because the Cronkies are saying, look, this is our project. This is the money we've spent. You've got I don't know how much it is now. Is it 700 million in 4.5 years? Like, that's a lot of money to be spending. So we got to be delivering now. But I look at what Man United are doing and it's just a mess. But I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it. Look, we do need to move to actually Arsenal and talk about what's going on at the moment. Hooks, let me come to you next, bruv. Bloody international break. I mean, I can't believe Kenny Ken's like twerking for it, if I'm honest with you, because he's just injuring all of our players. Do you know what I'm saying? But look, Tomiyasu, Martinelli, Saka, Erdegaard, of course, the previous internationals. We've got another month, and then we've got to do it all over again. Absolutely crazy, my bro. What are you telling me about these injuries? Is it dark arts? Is there anything to worry about? How bad do you think some of these players are? Talk to me, bro. How you feeling?
I don't think that we should be worried as a fan base, you know. I'll be so honest, because if you think about it, yeah, when Erdegaard got injured, yeah, everyone probably went, oh, that's it. Like, so, we're done. But then look, we've seen Trossard step up into that position, and we've actually discovered, oh damn, if our 10 is ever out, we've got a guy who can come in who maybe doesn't do all the things that Erdegaard does, but he can come in, do a job, and we can still win. We've still got victories while Erdegaard, our captain, not being there, who is very integral to all phases of our play, right? So I don't know. Even the Saka thing, I don't think he's injured, but even if he is injured, all of us are in agreement. We want to be fighting for the league. If we want to win the league, injuries to Saka and Erdegaard shouldn't be diverting us from potentially winning the league. It shouldn't be, oh, Saka's out, Erdegaard's out. Okay, I guess we'll go home now, and you get me. Just yeah, league's done. Like I don't I don't feel like that's the like for me. Like everything that's happened up to this point in terms of certain players going out, other players coming in, building the squad in a very specific way, i.e., near enough every single player that we have in our squad can play in a minimum of 3 positions. Like we should, if anything, now's the time for us to be like, okay, let's actually test, the quality and depth of our squad. And then even from the other angle, the Arsenal fans that are like, oh man, we keep on having these dead windows. We never do enough. What happens when so-and-so gets injured? We're going to get exposed. Well, now, if we do get exposed, there's like a case right there for the board to go, oh, okay, yeah, Arteta, Edu, January, something's got to happen. Like, we got to bring somebody in. So I think from whatever side of the sphere you're on as an Arsenal fan, these injuries shouldn't really affect you too much, because in one way or another, you're going to see if Arsenal can do what we need to do. And if Arsenal can't do what we need to do, then you've got a case for, okay, let's go and, you get me, let's go and improve the squad that a lot of people think that we should be doing. So I'm calm on Ødegaard and Saka. Now, Tomiyasu, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm a massive supporter of the guy, but it's time to go. I'm sorry. It's actually time to go. Like, I cannot doubt his quality when he's on the pitch. He went on his day, fully fit. He's arguably the best defender that we have. Like, defensively, he's arguably the best defender that we have. But I don't even remember the last time I saw you play like 3-4 games in a row. I honestly can't remember. So if I can't remember you kind of being in our squad and contributing, then I might as well not have you. I might as well ship you on and bring in someone that maybe is like 1 or 2 notches down in terms of quality, but plays maybe 20 to 30 to 40% more games, because that means more to me, right? I'm a believer availability is the best ability, and I don't know when you're going to be available. So I think it's time to get rid before we get put into a scenario where we can't sell him because there's like a year left on his contract, and then teams are being cheeky and we're trying to get him on a free, and then we got to let him go on a free, and then we're just kind of wasted. So yeah, I guess that's kind of my perspective on it. I know Martinelli's injured, but I hear the Martinelli injury is not really that bad of an injury. And I'll be honest, like the wings is arguably the place we're kind of blessed on. Like we've got so many different options that can play on either wing. So yeah, I mean, long story short, don't worry, Arsenal fans, man. We're still going.
Can I say one thing though? Don't put any hope in the transfer window, in the January transfer window, because the January transfer window is literally like, as you said, an emergency or like a paper over crack situation. We're not going to go and spend 100 million in the January transfer window. I just don't think that's what the club is going to do.
In January, we haven't done anything for the last 3 Januaries, for goodness sake. We just, everybody else is like the transfer window, and for Arsenal,
unless it's the perfect situation where somebody falls out with their club and they're the perfect fit to our team. You never know. But right now, I don't have any hope in the January transfer window being our savior. No. Everything we're gonna have to find a way to win with is already at the club.
I kind of agree.
Listen, January is depressing for everyone. Then I remember I'm an Arsenal fan and I get more depressed because I just know I'm going to watch nothing happen. And I'm going to, and as an Arsenal fan, I'm going to hope the entire window on Fabrizio Romano's hoping I see Arsenal getting someone, and it never happens, mate.
You know what's worse? You're going to have Man City going and getting Zubimendi. You're going to have Chelsea signing another 4 or 5 players. And then everyone's gonna be like, "Where's Arsenal signings?" The whole window.
Man, if that happens, it'll piss me off, man. I can't.
Brandon will be fuming the whole stream.
I'll be honest.
I remember the first. So we had last January. They said we can't do anything because of PSR. The other January before that, we did nothing at all, and everyone was like scratching their head. The January before that, we bought Trossard, Jorginho, and Kivior, and everyone was like, "Where's Caicedo?" And the one before that, we actually gave Aubameyang away for free. And brought nobody in. It's just been shambolic January windows for Arsenal, man. It's just an absolute mess, I must say. But let's stick to this. this Tomiyasu thing. Let me bring Tosin in because he's just joined, man. Bro, I did some maths earlier, Tosin, right? Kieran Tierney's a guy that apparently everyone wants gone, right? Cool, no problem. He's off skis. He injured all the time. He's been injured for 284 days of his Arsenal career, which is quite a lot, to be fair, right? Tomiyasu, who's still here, that everybody still wants to keep, has been injured for 336 days. So this guy's been over 100 games more injured than Kieran Tierney, that everyone says he's too injured to get in the side. And we're still twerking for this guy. This guy, when he is fit, I quite like him. Aerial ability he's got, versatile. I like his one-on-one defending. But it's time to say goodbye now, Tosin. Surely, bro.
Yeah, no, I'd have to agree. It's time to go, man. That's a mad stat. I didn't even realize that. I'm actually trying to think, when's the last time I've actually seen him string a couple of games together? It would have to be the season we signed him.
Facts.
It would have to be 21-22 season. Because a lot of people, I remember that season, they were looking down on him, saying, oh, yeah, he's a Spurs reject or something. And he came in and he balled out for us. But wow, yeah, like I've not seen him show up since then. Because then 22, yeah, because the next season we had a good title challenge, and then he made that mistake against Man City. Didn't really play that many games. Wow, that is mad. Yeah, we need to sell him.
He's got to go, man.
Yeah,
he got injured with Saliba at Sporting Lisbon. Do you remember? The pair of them got injured. And it was just a mess. And since then, Gal, he played 6 minutes against Southampton and he's injured again. 6 minutes.
Do you know why we got him for so cheap? It was partly because of his injury history. We always knew
that, right? I looked at that, and he has. It wasn't that as bad though. It was he had a few weeks of a hamstring.
He had structural damage, apparently, with his previous injury, and they said it was going to be something that would affect him. So they sold him knowing that he would have continuous injuries.
Right. So what you're saying is we bought another Kim Kallstrom, then, yeah?
We bought him for cheap. We bought him for cheap, knowing that he had injuries. If he's fit, he plays well. But that's the issue.
Yeah, no, I like it. I think when he's fit, he's good. I'm looking at his injuries now with Bologna. He had knee bruising, which kept him out for a week. He had hamstring muscle, which kept him out for a month. Then he had a hamstring injury that kept him out for a month a year later. Then a calf injury for 3 weeks. That was in February of the following season. And then his last, before we bought him, he'd just been out for a month with muscular problems, whatever that means.
You know what I think?
It's all calves and muscles, man. It's all hamstrings, calves, and muscle problems.
Call me crazy. I was looking at a picture of him once, and one of his legs looked bigger than the other. And I think that's the problem.
What are you talking about, bro?
That's why he has calf issues. Because it's not proportionate. I don't know why you guys laughing.
I don't know if you're joking or being serious.
I'm
bro.
dead serious. Like, I don't know why you guys laughing.
Listen, Kenny, let me come to you, man. What do you make of this? Because Tomiyasu, it's just time, yeah. It's time to tap out. I'm looking at him. I'm looking at Partey, Zinchenko, Jesus. They only get this season to prove their fitness. If they can't, it's off skis for me.
Hey, thing with Tomiyasu, yeah, Dave, is, he's been injured for a lot of the times because of, I don't know, what the issues with his injuries. But yeah, I'm with you. At the end of the season, there's going to be a clear out anyway, because Partey's come to the end of his contract. Tomiyasu, we're going to have to make upgrades anyway. That's what you do if you want to sort of progress to a team that challenges for titles or wins titles. Then players are going to be left behind. So it's a no-brainer. At the end of the day, he's a squad player. He's not. He's never really been that player that's nailed down a place. He's always been like a utility player, which has been useful to us. But I look at this summer and transfer deadline. I'm expecting to see a lot of changes. I'm expecting to see Tierney out of the club, Zinchenko out of the club. I expect to see a new left back. I haven't changed my mind on the left wing situation. I'm not going to change my mind on that as well. So left wing, there's going to be a few positions where we're going to have to improve. Also, may need another number 6 as well. Plus, the blue ribbon position, which is a striker. So, if we want to sort of like, if we don't win the league this season, but win, challenge for the Champions League next season, and challenge for the league next season, 4 players, get rid of the, players that served their purpose, but move on. And Tomiyasu is one of those players. And it's not just because of his injury record; it's because we need to go in that kind of direction where we got to upgrade. I don't move players on because of injuries. I move players on because I think, you know what, they've outlived their utility. Now we've got to go a little bit better and let's upgrade so we can, upgrade, because at the end of the day, eventually we're going to want to win the Champions League. So we're going to need to have better carrier players who are good on the ball and a better carrier players in the backup. So that's my reasons for Tomiyasu and Zinchenko to leave the football club.
Yeah. Look, man, I can't believe we've got through 5 minutes and Igal and Kenny haven't argued. That's the record, man. I'm like, fair play to you both. You know what I'm saying.
Well, I'm not gonna attempt it. I don't even want to talk about Bukayo Saka, because whenever we talk about Bukayo Saka, it gets dirty and messy. I don't agree with Igal. Igal don't agree with me. And at the end of the day, there's other people who should have a voice. Me and Igal can, have a scrap any time of the week. We've got each other's names for that. And anyway, Igal, you're a coward. You didn't answer that time when I sent you a message when you were fighting Saka's battles. You didn't answer me.
When?
I sent you a tweet, a DM about when you're fighting the world about Saka, and you didn't answer it.
When was this? I'm
Last
sorry,
week.
I didn't see my tweet.
What was the question, Kenny? What was the question? We all want to know now.
No, it's between me and him.
Okay.
First of all, am I not following you on Twitter? Because I don't see a DM. What are you talking about?
I sent you a DM, man, after the Southampton game.
I don't think it's sent. Go check it. Because I don't have any DM from you, bro. I'll keep it real.
Well, go and check it out. Check it whilst other people are talking.
All right.
Cool.
Long story short, it's like oil and water, but I have a lot of respect for my uncle. Don't worry.
Big up, man. Brandon, you and I have been very vocal, I would say, about the squad depth this season and felt that we were a striker short. Injuries like this is where we're going to find out, bro. Because if Saka and Martinelli aren't 100%, Ødegaard at the moment, we're making do with Trossard playing there. Might have to bring in Sterling or Jesus in the next couple of games if things are as bad as what we're saying. Tomiyasu's not playing anyway, so let's be real. It's just going to be someone on the bench that just replaces him. But do you have faith, bruv, that we'll be okay?
This is where I'm in two minds, Dan, right? Because obviously, my reaction when I found out about Martin Ødegaard getting injured. It was kind of like, oh, that's it then. We haven't really got anybody else to come in and replace him. But this time around, when I found out about the Saka and the Martinelli thing, I weren't too bad, bro, because I just kind of think to myself, well, I've got to give the club the benefit of the doubt now, because they found a solution to the Ødegaard issue. We got through some very tough fixtures, PSG, Aston Villa away, Tottenham away, Man City away, without Martin Ødegaard. So I'm going to give the club the benefit of the doubt before I go losing my head. But obviously, my thoughts, which is, we left ourselves short in the transfer window in the summer anyway. So I look at this and I think, right, okay, the solution has to be within the squad. We brought in Raheem Sterling for a reason. We got Gabriel Jesus who could play out wide as well. Trossard's obviously filling in the Ødegaard role at the moment. So, there are solutions there. It's just whether the players are good enough to carry it out if needed. I don't think, like Hooks was saying, I don't think Bukayo Saka's as badly injured as what people make out. I think he will just kind of shake that one off and continue on as he is. But, Dan, we've not been saying this just this season. We've been saying it for years and years and years about Bukayo Saka. This guy cannot continue to play 50 to 60 games for Arsenal every single season. We need sufficient cover for him. Is Raheem Sterling that guy? I don't think he is. But you've got to give the club the benefit of the doubt. They brought him in. So we've got to see if Sterling is capable of stepping up. If not, Arsenal are going to have to go out in the January transfer window and dip into it. I know it's not something that we tend to do. We haven't done it for the last 3 seasons. But at the end of the day, needs must now, because we have to win the league title this season. We put ourselves in a good position. I know it's early on in the season, but we put ourselves in a good position so far because we've had 3 very difficult away games and we come through them with 7 points out of 9. You know, we've got a tough run of fixtures coming up again now. Bournemouth away isn't going to be easy. We've got Liverpool at home. We've got Chelsea away. We've got Inter away. You know, we've got some tough fixtures coming up, and we need this squad to continue to perform at the level that it is performing and getting results. So, you know, I still look at it and think in January, we're going to have to go and dip into the market, like it or not. Otherwise, it will have repercussions in terms of Arsenal winning something. Tomiyasu, I'm not too concerned about because he's always on the shelf anyway. That guy might as well be sponsored by the NHS because he's literally injury after injury after injury, bro. So, and like Kenny said, we have got a lot of work to do next summer because Jesus is another one who's injury prone. Zinchenko, you know, another one who's seriously injury prone. I believe that he's had more injuries since he's been at Arsenal or throughout his footballing career than what Kieran Tierney has. Yet Kieran Tierney's this injury prone player that everybody talks about. You know, you got Thomas Partey coming towards the end of his career. Jorginho, how many more years is he going to carry on for? So, you know, we've got positions within the squad that Arsenal need to deal with. And I know they don't like doing it in January because it's a tricky window in January, but maybe there might be an element where the Cronkies might have to say, do you know what? I'm going to give you some money now, Mikel. Go out and do what you need to do in this window, but you won't get that in the summer. So move some of our summer transfer windows signings forward. You know, I'm looking at players as well that can occupy positions that we need. Mohamed Kudus, go and get him. Yeah, I like that. Morgan Rogers from Aston Villa. I think he's really, really good, powerful midfielder as well. You've obviously got your Alexander Isak, who a lot of Arsenal fans want. Gyökeres is still scoring goals for fun, you know. So there's no reason why we can't go and do something, Dan. But as of right now, the injuries, I'm not too concerned because I want to see how the manager and this squad cope with them. They cope with that Martin Odegaard, and now I want to see how they cope with these.
Can I say something? I just did you guys hear about the Jesus report?
No, go on.
It's his last season. Charles Watts reported Jesus' last season with Arsenal. So most likely he'll be gone by the end of the year.
Good. Needs to be. Guys, this has been disappointing in my opinion. He's got one season to prove himself, and if he says he's going, then fair play. Bit of a weird thing if he said that now. Why would he come out and
he didn't say that. Charles Watts came out with on his YouTube and said that this is Gabriel Jesus' last season with Arsenal.
Okay. I didn't see where that's been announced, but fair play if he knows that. I didn't know that. But look, I've got to say, I think Jesus has been really poor. I was with Canton the other day saying that I think he's been a flop, and he said that was harsh. But for £50 million and for being injured and for delivering 15 goals across 3 seasons, I would say that's a flop because we bought Lacazette for that. And he's
you know something? Based on what we bought him for, he's not a flop. But based on where we want to go, he's not prepared for that. You get what I'm saying?
You think that's a good return for £50 million striker? Come on, bro.
Bro, it's not the return. I'm saying for what we bought him for to get us back into the top 4, he did that. For what we want to do to go achieve major honors, he's not going to be able to get us there. So regardless, he's going to be a squad player. The players who are going to get us there are the players like Gabriel Magalhaes, William Saliba, Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice. These are the kind of guys who are the guys that are going to get us there. Gabriel Jesus was never the main striker that was going to win us major honors. He was just a stopgap until we went and got something better.
Okay. Well, listen, Tosin, let me bring you in, bro, before I bring Giuseppe in. We've got some big games coming up, bro. I can't lie to you. Liverpool, Chelsea away, Newcastle away, Inter Milan away. We're going to need players like Jesus and Sterling to be a big part of it because we are going to have to, whether you start, rotate, bring them on, they're going to have to play a part of some of those games, man. Do you have the kind of confidence with what we've seen so far? Because I've got question marks over those two in particular. I would actually be more excited and lifted in the stadium to see Ethan Nwaneri coming on ahead of Sterling and Jesus, and that shouldn't be right in my opinion, man. So what are you telling me, Tosin?
No, I agree with you basically. I think I'd like to see Nwaneri play more, that being said, though, I think I trust the squad, man. I trust the manager. I think he's gotten us this far. You saw how people were panicking. What was it, a month ago? No Odegaard and all of these injuries and Marino, and the team came through that. So I like what Brandon was saying. I think it's far too early now. Of course, yes, it's not really good news to hear about the injury reports, but I think I'm optimistic, to be honest. I'm looking at that fixture list and I'm still looking at our team and I'm thinking, I can't see any team there that's really going to, like, probably the only danger game we may have is Inter Milan away. But I think we should be beating Liverpool. They've started well. Slott's a good manager, but we're a good team. I know we do dumb stuff at home, but we've got good defense. We turn up in the big games. I trust the team. And to be honest, I don't mind. Look, at the end of the day, Jesus and Sterling, they do need to step it up in their form, but what better opportunity than when there's a void in the team that they need to fill? Like, it's a lot easier for them to actually make a stamp on the team when they're getting consistent minutes. They've not been great in their cameos, but let's just face facts. Jesus looked sharp in pre-season. People were thinking, okay, he's going to come back. He's going to do this. Then he got injured. Then he came back and you're out of the team. Then Sterling playing every minute of pre-season, only to be told, hey, you're not playing. And then he goes, a month without playing football. And he's now playing for a new team, getting up to speed. So I'm optimistic. I think we can do dirt. Where the team is at now, given the circumstances, is absolutely nuts. So we're only going to get better the more people come. So I'm not really too worried. I'm not really looking towards the January transfer window either, because I know nothing's going to happen from there. I think this is the group we're working with. We just got to buckle up, trust the team, and watch them get the results. So I feel good, honestly. I feel optimistic.
No, that's good, man. I hear that. And Giuseppe, let me give you a question, bro. It's the Arsenal-Bournemouth game, right? You've got no Saka and Martinelli that starts because they've got injury doubts. Let's just say they have. They might start. They probably both will, right? What are you doing in that front three without them two?
To be honest, tough, innit? I think them two arguably very important right now for us. I'd just keep Havertz up top. I wouldn't move him anywhere.
Thanks.
I'd probably play Sterling on the left, Trossard in the 10, and Wanyeri on the right. Or play Trossard on the left, Wanyeri in the cam in the 10, and play Sterling on the right.
That's what I'd do.
I think that's what I think I'd do, and I think that's probably our best bet. Like I know everyone here is kind of like optimistic without these with these injuries and that. It's not that I'm not optimistic. I do think we downplay a little bit how much Saka actually has been producing for us this season in GA, and even like, I'm not gonna lie, the reason we've been Tony Pulis FC on corners and that is mainly because of Saka's deliveries this season, I'll be honest, and he's got us out of tight situations. I think he's been quality. And I'm actually more upset about the Martinelli one, because I really think the last 3 games Martinelli's really started coming back to himself, and if he's actually got an injury, I think that could backtrack it, and I really hope to Lord that it ain't the fact, because I think he's been good and I think he's going to start stepping up again. But yeah, that's what I would start, because I think that's our best bet. I want to see Wanyeri get a start, to be honest. I know I think everyone in here will probably agree. We want to see him start a game and see what he can do. I think Havertz has to start up top. I'm not going to lie. And back to what you said, Dan, about Jesus being a flop. I could somewhat agree, because I'd argue that Havertz has already done more than him.
Facts.
And we laughed at Havertz and stuff and the signing. He's already done more than Jesus. So I think you've got to argue that Jesus technically is a flop. I know Jesus has more to his game than GA and stuff, his thing, but I think injuries have played a big part. And I'm in agreement. This is last year to prove himself, and he looks very uncreative when he comes on now. He's actually getting to the point where he's starting to wind me up when I watch him. I'll be honest. Like I'm just like watching him come on, and I'm like, it's like you're deliberately sabotaging. Like you don't want us to do well or something. You're coming on and you're holding on to the ball too much.
You see the typical example, bro, when he come on at the Etihad, that he's mucking around in the corner, loses his boot, gets booked. It's like, man, you're experienced, lad. Get it out. What are you doing? Like, that didn't allow us to concede from that corner, but the guy's just clueless upstairs. Just get rid of it like everyone's been doing in the last. What are you trying to do? You're trying to be cheeky with it. Like, the guy just frustrates me. I actually prefer Sterling in the last few, if I'm honest with you, when I've seen him, and he's not been amazing. So, yeah, I'm with you, Giuseppe. What are you telling me, Hooks? Are you similar?
In what? In terms of who
Jesus,
would I
who would you play? Yeah.
So I think I would go for Havertz up top, probably Trossard on the left, Sterling on the right, and I would go Nwaneri in the 10. But I've been calling for Nwaneri in the 10 for time. And do you know how much it's annoyed me that I have to watch Jesus take minutes away from Nwaneri when we literally have this young kid who could go on to be like a Fabregas or a Wilshere if given the time to develop in the first team. And I have to watch this fool keep on coming on the pitch, contributing nothing, and just basically trying to do FIFA Street in a Premier League game when it's not necessary. So I'm fully tapped out of the Jesus hype in it. I understand why we signed him, because obviously Arteta needed players who understood and had already played in the system that he wanted to develop. So it was easier for other players to kind of mesh in. And there was two players there in Zinchenko and Jesus that could sort of help out on the pitch for those that weren't too familiar with the system. But all the players now, they know the system. So now it's about quality. Do they have the quality? And Jesus, I'm sorry, I just can't see it anymore. I honestly can't see it. I think he has to go to La Liga or Serie A where the game's a lot slower. He gets more time on the ball. I still do think he's good for European nights because I feel like European football does suit Jesus. But in the Premier League, I would just tap out, done, get rid, all of that good stuff. But with this Bournemouth game coming up, I do believe it's one of those games, and it's something that I do think, because I think Brandon, you said something about not wanting to see Saka like play like virtually every single game. I feel like this Bournemouth game is one of those games where Arteta should be identifying what players he can rotate to give his key players rest. Because if we want our key players to be firing in the latter part of the season, he's going to have to identify games across the season where he can take Saka out, where he can take Havertz out, where he can take Ødegaard out, where he can take Rice out. So when it comes to that, I say late February time up until late April, everybody's at least 99% ready to kill and bring the title home, right? So that's just my opinions. And obviously nothing personal against the Jesus guy, but I don't feel we're in a position where we, similar to Martinelli, I believe, similar to Martinelli, but the last few games he's kind of stepped it up where we can kind of be giving people a chance to find their feet. Like, I don't feel like we're in that position at the moment. We need people that when you come on, I know you're going to do something, and then you do it, and it works in our favor. Not, oh, maybe if, maybe that. So yeah, that's kind of my.
Can I ask you guys something? Sorry, Gal. Can I ask you guys something? Hindsight now, obviously, should we have kept Smith Rowe?
Yes.
To these injuries.
No.
I believe so.
No.
I believe we should have.
No.
I don't think if we kept Smith Rowe, he's doing what he's doing.
He's not making any difference. He's not getting games.
Yeah.
No.
Just because he's doing well at Fulham, don't think that would have replicated at Arsenal.
No, but I think that me personally, I would prefer Emil Smith Rowe playing over Jesus. So I agree he was never going to play a first team role, but I would rather it be ESR that is playing ahead of Jesus. So in hindsight, I regret us getting rid of ESR, especially when the person that you've upgraded to the first team, his sensei is out and you don't play him. So play ESR. That's my viewpoint on it.
I don't get the rush. There's no rush. Right now, we want to see the most of Ethan, but at the same time, too much too quick can somewhat hurt him. I think him coming out and being implemented in slowly is to get him more confidence, and I wouldn't be surprised if we actually gave Mourinho a start versus Shakhtar in the Champions League. I think there's going to be more rotation versus Shakhtar than there would be against Bournemouth. If everyone is available, I would expect them to play. Martinelli.
Let me ask you,
and
Igal, because I know
Saka.
you've got to go to your show, so I want to ask you that before I come to Kenny, Igal. What are we going to do in these few games? Because when we rotated against Southampton, it was a disaster, if I'm honest with you. It was terrible. It looked poor. We couldn't beat them. It was just nothing, really. And then second half, it was like, bring the 3-4 players on. Now, all of a sudden, we win the game. That was kind of a concern for me. Now, I'm not saying we were shambles because obviously we had all the possession and stuff, but one shot on target from a party smash that just was collected by Ramsdale pretty much. And that was all we created with our rotated squad. I'm not sure Arteta can do that again against Chelsea, Newcastle, and Inter Milan away. So I don't know how about you, but I feel like we're going to have to play our best 11 in that game and bring off the 5 of our better players if the game is won. Because if we just play like a second string team, we're going to get beat, in my opinion, Igal.
For the Inter game or for the Chelsea game?
Well, across the next few games, because we can't just play the same 11, but at the same time, that team didn't look good against Southampton. But we got Liverpool, Chelsea, Inter Milan, Newcastle, and then obviously Preston. And
Bournemouth.
Shakhtar.
Bournemouth ain't going to be an easy game either.
That's you know what I'm saying,
it's
boys.
It's going to be a tough game.
It's going to be a tough period.
Listen, nothing's going to come easy to us, obviously. They're all going to be tough games. But the honest truth is, besides Inter and maybe Newcastle away, I expect us to beat Chelsea. I expect us to beat Liverpool at home. I expect us to come out of majority of these games with wins. Going into every fixture schedule from now to the end of the season is going to look difficult because what our ambition is to win every game and to try to win the league title. Right now, I'm not too concerned. Saka's going to be okay. Martinelli, I think this is dark arts, guys. Honestly, let's be honest. He's going to be fine, right? As for Odegaard, he's going to be a miss. But by the time he gets back, all those people who said without Odegaard the league is over, they're going to look silly because we're still going to be in this title race and we're still going to be there and thereabouts. The only way I could see things getting bad is if there's back-to-back defeats. And at this moment in time, I don't see us losing back-to-back games. At worst, I see us maybe getting back-to-back draws versus Inter and maybe one of the Newcastles or Chelseas. That's the worst-case scenario.
Keddy, what about you, bro? Rotation, or you just start with the strongest and bring off?
Thing is, Dan, because of the the volume of games, virtually a game every 3 or 4 days. The fact that we've got a Champions League, not a group stage, but a proper Champions League, rotation is inevitability. We're going to have to rotate. If you think about the volume of games we've got now till the beginning of the end of January, beginning of February, it's a crazy schedule. You know my thoughts. I've been crying out now even more than ever that we should get rid of the Christmas program. These Boxing Day games and these New Year's Day games are ridiculous, especially the level of games we have. But we still have that schedule, so we are going to have to rotate. It's an inevitability. Saka will be rotated. All the players have to be rotated in midfielders because those volume of games. You talk about the international break resulting in injuries. I think these level of games, if you don't rotate players, you are going to get injuries, or the lesser part is probably poor performance because of the fact that players are running on empty. So in terms of the game against Bournemouth, definitely going to be rotated, but that's not because we any disrespect against Bournemouth. It's because it's a necessity. Because you think about Bournemouth, Shakhtar, Liverpool. Then after Liverpool, was it Preston, Newcastle? A game is on. Is it Internazionale? And then Chelsea in the Champions.
Yeah,
Internazionale, Chelsea. It's those games just coming thick and fast for me, and that's why rotation. So before last season when Saka played no matter what, even Arteta, who never likes to rotate, is going to have to do it. It's just, he'd be a fool not to, because I think if he doesn't rotate, then he wouldn't be like I said, back-to-back defeats. It'd be back-to-back defeats because of fatigue. I'm not a big man. I'm not big on fatigue, but I'm just seeing as it is.
Would you rather rotate versus Bournemouth or Shakhtar?
You know what? Every with the amount of games that are coming out, it doesn't have to be Bournemouth. It could be any game from now until February. Obviously, you don't really want to rotate when we play the big teams, but you just don't know what the situations arises, what happens in training, or what with the back of games, how your best player is going to feel. For instance, before the Chelsea game, if you have someone with a slight knock against Internazionale, you might have to say, you know what, I'm going to leave you out against Chelsea. So it's everything's up for grabs when it comes to for places, just for necessity. And I do think if anything could cost us the league, it could be the fact we got a thinner squad. And if Arteta plays all the best, his full squad without rotation, that could be pretty costly. You know what I mean? So for me, of course, I'll consider Ranieri, but I don't think he's going to do that. But I do think that he's going to play a front three of Sterling, Havertz up top, maybe Trossard, the three, and then midfield.
You know something? Arteta don't trust nobody after that game where we rotated versus Southampton.
As long as he doesn't play Havertz in midfield.
I think Dan is right. He's not gonna risk it.
Unfortunately, the amount of games we have is going to unfortunately force his hands because the schedule's crazy. Like I said, if Arsenal want to go on to be the club that I demand, eventually winning the Champions Leagues and winning the leagues, this World Club Championship, isn't going away. It's going to be around for a while. So eventually, we got to push for this Christmas games to be banned and then have the same sort of schedule we have in Europe. But at the end of the day, I understand.
I love the Christmas games.
I get it. I respect that. I respect you for that because I love it. But
I love being able to eat.
The fact is,
food
sometimes I know what you mean. Getting out of bed, like eating the Christmas dinner and rolling out to go to the football. But there has to be a break because our cousins in Europe do it. And I think
you know what the break is? During the whole festive period, we're staying in London.
That's sort of break.
All our games are at home. Versus London team.
I understand, but it's still games, though, isn't it? It's still, and London derbies. You think about it. Our next after Bournemouth, our next away games after Bournemouth, Newcastle, all our away games up until Christmas are London derbies. These are like full throttle derbies. We have to be at it. So again, when I look at the volume of games and the intensity, because remember, it's not the volume of games; it's the intensity in every game. I think that eventually, you have to consider these Christmas games because they're pointless. What's the point of having these Christmas games where, let's face it, if you're a match-going fan and you've got a game on Boxing Day, they don't have trains. How are you going to get there? You're going to go by horse?
Sure.
I don't know, man. Look, Christmas fixtures is mad, if I'm honest. But I'm a bit with Tosin, really. I quite enjoy it. So, Igal, I know you've got to go, bro. Brandon, I will come to you. Igal, big up to you, my friend. We are going to redirect you after this, man. So, what you got, show wise?
Bro, literally, we're just going to be talking about Thomas Tuchel and everything. And also, I'm literally like 10 subscribers away from 30K. So hopefully, if I do hit that today, I'll kind of do a little bit of celebration. But yeah, everyone have yourself a wonderful day. And hopefully we smash Bournemouth. Hopefully we smash Bournemouth and everybody's just going to be calm, right? Raheem Sterling hat-trick.
Let's hope so, man. Listen, make sure you go over to Igal Talks Football and hit the subscribe button, man. Make sure you can be number 30. We're doing the same here. 30 is our next target. So please make sure you hit the like and the subscribe if you haven't done so already. There's still nearly 400 of you in here. So please make sure that you're all doing that and locked in. Brandon, sorry, bro. You wanted to come in, man. We're going to come to a close now. What did you want to say, bro?
I just wanted to make sure I heard that right. So Kenny's saying scrap the Christmas games, but keep the Nation League game.
No. I didn't say about that. What I said, the thing about the Nation Leagues is that because the reason why they're keeping the Nation Leagues is because over COVID, a lot of the footballing associations lost money. So this is just to bring in money. So I'm all for associations making money. The money they lost. In terms of the Nation Leagues, as I said before, the right teams have won it. Whatever you say about it, Spain have won it, France have won it, and Portugal won it. Big teams won it, and they've played big squads. Now, we may not take it seriously in England, but our cousins, they shouldn't be taking it seriously. But the Christmas break, my views on it. I've had discussions with everyone in this. Well, with you, Brandon, and I've had discussions with Dan. It's just what I just thought. Why not do what our cousins in Europe do, because of the fact that eventually it will cause an effect, especially now with more football, and more in terms of like increased Champions League and the prospect of us playing, if we're lucky, in the World Club, FIFA World Club Championship. Surely that has to. You've got to think Boxing Day. No, don't need that. New Year's Day, we don't need it. But I like the tradition. I loved it. But I'm getting older now. And I'm thinking about, from a footballing perspective, it's not workable.
Interesting, man. Listen, as it comes to a close, I'll go on, Brandon.
Yeah, the last thing I wanted to say is everybody's talking about squad rotation and that, and bringing in Ethan, and I'm with that. I'd quite like to see him start. I think his cameos have been very good and whatever. But the sad reality is, we all know what the manager's going to do if he has to rotate. If Saka and Martinelli are out, he will play a front three of Trossard on the left, Jesus up top, Sterling on the right, and Havertz back in midfield. We already know that. We already know that. So, it's pointless sitting here debating about Ethan starting, Marino starting, all the rest of it. We already know what Arteta's going to do. And if he does that, we could be in even more trouble. Havertz has to stay at top. If he's not up top, no point in playing the guy. It really isn't. And it's the same goes for Jesus. His cameos haven't been great. Sterling's cameos haven't been great. I'd like to see Ethan get a chance because he's actually done something when he's on the pitch. But yeah, Kenny's right. With the fixture congestion, we're going to have to rotate this squad. And it doesn't really matter which games he does it in because they're all important. Gal's talking about, well, would you prefer to rotate against Shakhtar? That's still an important game. There's a different formality to this Champions League thing now. If we want to finish in the top 8, we've got to beat Shakhtar. And we've got to beat Inter. Do you know what I mean? That every game is important. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. But have faith in the club, guys. They've already shown us that they can cope with the Odegaard situation. Let's see if they can do the same with Martin. Because I can't see Saka playing 50 to 60 games again for Arsenal without getting a serious injury. We've got away with it so far, and it looks like we got away with it again. But we're not going to continue to get away with it. We're just not.
I agree. No, I agree, bro. I agree. Listen, next time we meet, there'll be 2 games gone, to be fair. Next time we chat, Bournemouth and Shakhtar will be out the way. Tossing quick thoughts on both of those games and what you think the scores could be in those games as we come to a close, bro.
Bournemouth will be the tougher game, in my opinion. I still see us winning. I think we go there. I think we do what we did last season. Not like a 4-0, but I can see us going there winning like 2-0. Bournemouth are a good team, but we're a better team. So even with our injuries, I'd expect us to go there. I'd be surprised if we don't get the result. I can't see anything but an Arsenal win with a clean sheet. And Shakhtar as well at home. I think that's the game we're going to see a lot of rotation in, if I can be honest. I think we'll have our strongest team for Bournemouth, and you'll probably see a bit of rotation for Shakhtar at home, and I can see us beating them as well. So, yeah.
Interesting, man. Interesting. Giuseppe, same for you?
Yeah. Of course, we're gonna win. I think we're gonna beat. I think Bournemouth will be 3-0. I think we'll wipe the floor with them. I think they're a tough team. I'm no disrespect to them, but I think that the players are gonna do the job. I don't actually think he's gonna rotate as much as people think in that game. To be honest, I think that we're gonna play quite a bit. I know people have said about Saka, but if you actually look, Saka's been subbed quite a few times this season. He played only half a game against City and stuff. And I do think I wouldn't call it the dark arts what's happened in these in the international, but I don't think they're injured. I think Arteta and these players know, and he's told them the second you feel any slight thing, you're off the pitch and you're coming back to Arsenal. We're in for a league title this year, and we're not having no injuries. Definitely after the Odegaard stuff, I think the players, and that's what I think's happened. They felt little tightnesses or something, and they're like, yeah, we're coming off. It's only friendlies, and that's what should happen. I'm not gonna lie, that's what should happen. They're friendly games at the end of the day. If someone feels a little something, they should come straight off the pitch. So 3-0 against Bournemouth. Shakhtar, I think we'll beat them 3-1. I think we will concede. We seem to concede at home all the time now for some reason, and it's Champions League night. I think I think it'll be one of them where we're maybe 3-0 up and they get a goal back. So I'm going to say 3-1. in that game as well. So I think we'll do good.
Optimistic. Love to hear it, man. Hooks, what you telling me, bro?
Definitely 2 W's. I am a bit more worried about the Bournemouth game because Bournemouth look interesting this season. They and at their ground, they do look like they can cause a few teams damage, but I've seen enough from us so far this season to definitely get the W there. I would say in the Shakhtar game is probably the best game to rotate because although it is the Champions League and although you have to respect all teams in the Champions League, we're playing at home against, you could argue, one of the lesser quality teams. So I think it's if not rotate, it's definitely a perfect opportunity to start our best players and hopefully 1-2 goals up first half, and then at halftime make substitutions and bring on, you know, other options within the squad, because the next 3 games we have after that, I don't think there can be any level of rotation unless there's injuries. I think we have to play our like key starting 11 in all of those games. Otherwise, we could potentially be at the end of the season looking back at those games like, if only we played so-and-so, maybe that 1-1 draw at Liverpool is now a 2-1 win. Or if only we played so-and-so, that 1-0 loss to Chelsea is a 1-1 draw. So yeah, we got a lot to think about. I'll tell you, there's a lot to think about over the next few games. But I am of the more positive, optimistic fans who think we're gonna beat all of them. So yeah, hopefully I'm right and we can bring all those points home.
Look, interesting, man. I kind of share. I feel like it's going to be 2 W's as well. I fancy a clean sheet against Shakhtar Donetsk. I don't fancy a clean sheet against Bournemouth. I feel like they're unpredictable. So I'll go 3-1 Arsenal against Bournemouth and I'll go 2-0 Shakhtar. Kenny, what are you saying, bro?
Well, if perversely, because it's away from home, I'm more confident as us shutting that Bournemouth comfortably. My problem, if it was the Emirates Stadium, I'd be a bit worried because I do think the Emirates Stadium, we do tend to let teams have a spell where they're in the game. Obviously, we go on and win it, but at Vitality Stadium, it's going to be a shutout. We'll win 2-0. It won't be pretty, but we'll come away with the points. Shakhtar, I expect us to win. I think that if we played the way we played against PSG, then I think it's not just going to be like a 2-0 win. I think it could be 3 or 4 if we play like that, because I think that game against PSG was our best performance, league and in Europe. So yeah, play like that, and you know, in his go. At the end of the day, when I look at Arsenal, the away form I'm pleased with. I just do think if we do come unstuck, it won't be against Man City at home. It won't be Liverpool at home. It'll be against teams from the bottom 10. Because eventually, if we play like we do at home against one of those bottom 10 sides, eventually they're going to get their act together in all aspects of the pitch, and we may not, be able to sort of like get back, take the games in the last minute. That we've got to sort of like do better at home. But right now, away from home, no problem. Expect us to win, even with rotation, because our defence is really strong.
Yeah, it is 100%. Brandon, lastly, what are you telling me?
Yeah, that's going to be the key again. Arsenal got to get back to defending well and stop this conceding goals, conceding easy chances. The 2 teams before the international break that we played, that we conceded in goals and chances to, are 2 of the worst teams in the league in Southampton. 2 teams that are dubbed to go down. So, I think the key to anything that Arsenal do now, including the rotation side of things, is going to be that defence. And if we keep clean sheets, I think Bournemouth is going to be a tricky game. I'm going to go. I still think we'll win it. I'm going to go 2-1. Shakhtar at home. Again, I think we'll concede. I think we'll concede in both of them, because I'm just looking at this. I don't know. There's something over the last couple of games where teams have been able to create chances against us, and I think Bournemouth have the quality to be able to create chances against us. And like Kenny was saying, us at home, we tend to give teams an opportunity to have a spell within the game, and we'll probably do that with Shakhtar as well. And that will probably also be the game that we rotate in, if any of them. So I think 3-1 against Shakhtar and 2-1 against Bournemouth, but no game's going to be easy, boys. No game.
Nah, man, it's going to be mad. It really is. I also think at home, we should go back to White and Timber at fullback, in my opinion, because we were keeping clean sheets with those two. As much as I like Calafiori and what it looks like, I just feel like there's potential for him to
Dan, things that may not happen. You're asking.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I would love to see Timber back at left back because Calafiori is good. He's a maverick, but a lot of the danger comes from the right-hand side. Yeah. What was that, Brandon?
I said Calafiori's erratic. That's the thing.
Yeah, he is.
I like him. He's decent, but he's erratic.
He's going to develop. He is.
I feel like it's like a positioning thing for me. I'm like, you look so good on the ball. Wow, you can tackle as well. And I'm like, right, get back, bro. Get back, bro. Where are you? Like, look at where you are.
He's a long-term project. He's a long-term project. So obviously, we've had previous shows where I've earmarked a position where I think the manager may look at him, but that there could be a casualty. But I do think that this manager, as I said before, it's about how good you are on the ball, because I think eventually he's gonna think, right, this guy will get his act together, and then he may play him in a position that he probably signed him for.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think White's been phenomenal, but I haven't had much get down that side, but he has played there. He should be back. So I think it's a decision to make now. White, Timber, Calafiori, but it's a good decision to make. That's for sure, man. Listen, that's for another podcast for sure. We've overrun. Big up to every single one of you for coming on, man. Big up to Kenny. Big up to Igal, who was on earlier as well. Make sure you go and follow Kenny Ken. You're going to stay tuned to be redirected to Igal Talks Football as well. Big up to Brandon, True Gunners TV. Make sure you're following him and his content. Make sure you're also following Tosin. You're doing content quite a lot now, Tosin. Shout out your stuff, man. What are you up to?
Oh, mate. I am, but life is getting on top of me at the moment. now that the international break is coming to an end, I'll start doing stuff. It will be mainly stuff, previews and reviews at best.
Cool, man. What is it? Fleet-footed, yeah?
Yeah. I'll be doing it, and I'll probably do stuff with my brother on Mondays as well.
Yeah, I see you do Blood Brothers. That's quite good, man. I've got to say. Yeah, fair play to you, bro. Fair play to you. I've got Tobes coming on this week as well, like him and Lawless. That's going to be a mad show. But big up to you, man, and thanks for coming on. Hooks, shout out, man. What are you up to, my bro? How can people follow you?
Halftime Hooks, man. You can put that in the Twitter. You can put that in the TikTok. You can put that in the YouTube. I do a few watch-alongs. I've dropped a pre-record today. I drop regularly on TikTok as well. And once I hit 1K, I'm gonna start doing the big boy streams that all of you big boys do. So yeah, help me get to 1K. Give me belief in this journey, and start seeing my face a lot more often.
Nice.
Come on, man. Come on. Make sure you go over there, people. Halftime Hooks. Get him to 1K subs, and then you'll start seeing a lot more of him. And you'll also see him a lot on this channel as well. Giuseppe, man, pleasure. Debut on the channel. It's taken too long, man. I can't believe it's taken this long, but big up to you, man. Thanks for coming on. Shout out what you got coming up, man.
Yeah, man. I'm obviously going to start doing a lot more now. I took a few weeks off, about a month off, and I just had a little one. So new life. And it's hard. Like I was gonna try and juggle it. I was like, yeah, I could do it. And then like life hit me like a steam train. I was like, okay, but it's starting to settle a bit more now. So I'm gonna start doing more watch-alongs and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm always on shows anyway. You always see me doing something. I'm on TikTok as well. All Sicilian Gooner TV. It's the same on everything as Echo Hooks, Twitter, all that. Just give me a follow if you like my content. If you like me, you know what I mean. So yeah, listen. Hopefully, big things. I'll be doing big things soon on my channel, and just keep tuned. And yeah, thanks for having me as always. I spoke to you not long ago outside the stadium about this. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, man.
And now I'm here. So yeah, come on, big up.
Nice.
Love, man. No, absolutely superb, man. Good stuff. And make sure you're following all of these guys, man. And you're putting a like and sub on this one as well. We've got content coming up tomorrow. Me and James B FTV will be out tomorrow night. There's going to be a show dropping me and Grizz talking about Liverpool and Arsenal and what we see with Liverpool in the title race. Yeah, so that's going to be another one we're dropping as well. Check the one with me and Saeed earlier as well, people. Getting some good people on the plate. So yeah, there's good stuff coming. So please make sure that you do stay tuned. Big up all of you. We'll see you next time. Take it easy. We're out of here.